live at 5 on WCTE and its streaming platforms to provide updates on communities throughout Central Tennessee.
Thank you for joining us for this episode on Life at 5. My name is Cephas Ablakwa, and we have an exciting show for you. We have Corby King and Jeff Slagel from Putnam County Schools and Mr. Stewart. So Corby King will join us first. Corby, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, Cephas. How are you today?
I am doing very well. Thank you for joining us. So it's a new year. We're done with 2020 and we're in the new year. Tell us, how are things going? How are things rolling out in this year?
Sure. So we're a couple weeks into the new year, new semester for us in the school year. Things are going well. Still very similar setup to what we had in the fall semester, but things are going well. The teachers and students have had a couple of unexpected snow days. That's always a fun surprise for them. But we're doing well.
Also, 2020 was challenging. You know, we started out with the tornado, then COVID. How are you feeling? First semester out of the way. How are you feeling?
Right. So the first semester for us, actually, we feel like went really well. I'm so proud of our teachers, our students, our staff members, our teachers, students, staff members for the job they did in the first semester. We were able to remain in school in person for the entire first semester. I think that was a huge benefit for our school system, for our community and our families. We were mitigating the COVID strategies. We had a lot of concern opening the school, just like everyone around the country, I think. But our people pulled together because we know it's what's best for our students. We know that's best for our families. And we showed that it was okay, that it was safe to do so. So some of the protocols we put in place have been effective in continuing to mitigate the spread of COVID. And at the same time, our students are learning. They're where they need to be.
How is the transition to this year after the Christmas break? How are we dealing with COVID in this new year, in this new semester?
Sure. A lot of the same strategies, continuing to wear masks, keeping the students reminding them to wash their hands regularly, use hand sanitizer, social distance where they can, when possible, spreading the seats out in the classroom as much as we can. We're limited by some of those constraints, but a lot of the same protocols that we had in place for the fall semester are still continuing because COVID is still in our community. Our numbers are trending in a positive direction in the community. I feel like our COVID numbers are decreasing. The hospitalization numbers are decreasing. Since we've been back from Christmas break, our school numbers have also decreased. We've been on a decline. So we feel like we're going in a positive direction, but it's not time to let up because it is still here. It's still in our community. So a lot of the same things, a lot of the same strategies we had in place in the fall are continuing.
Well, one new strategy that we did not have in the fall is the vaccine. So how are the teachers, how are we doing with that, with the vaccination of the teachers?
Absolutely. So very fortunate, Governor Lee moved teachers into the 1B category with the 75 and up population, so our teachers are able to receive the vaccine in our community. And that's been a big plus for us. We've got to keep our staff healthy, protect them, protect their families. We have been able to, or a little over 800, a little over 50% of our staff members, faculty and staff, have received the first dose of vaccine. Beginning this Friday, we have the majority of those 800 that will begin receiving their second dose of the vaccine. So we feel like, again, another positive for us, a step in the right direction for mitigating COVID within the community. And so we're encouraging our staff to get the vaccine as it's available, and anyone as those age groups drop, as we're able to transition from the 75 and up to 65 and up in the community, hopefully soon, just to, again, find some normalcy and return to that in our community.
Now, you may not know this, but what about the students? How are they doing with the vaccines?
So
is there something that you might know?
So the students right now are not eligible. The CDC, the last thing that I saw, the last report, and we'd have to go to the health department, but it's not recommended for students under the age of 16. So that's not something we've opened it up to. That'll be a family decision when it does become available for students and for the vaccine. I don't know if the CDC will change those recommendations, but right now it's only 16 and under, and they're not at the point where they can receive that vaccine even if it were recommended.
Awesome. here we have in the spring semester, what are the big things? What are the big things that are coming up, and what should we be expecting?
Sure. So, we'll have a push in the springs. It gets really busy, so we'll have a push for the spring testing that'll happen in a couple of months still. But, the state it doesn't appear to have any appetite to waive those tests. There's been a lot of hope, I think, for that, but it doesn't appear that's going to happen. So we're preparing students for the spring testing. We'll have spring enrollment coming up. That'll be big for families as we do that in April. So over the next couple, like starting this afternoon with your segment with Mr. Slagel, talking about our career and technical education programs, our CTE programs and career pathways. Then we'll talk next month. You'll have Mr. Sam Brooks talking about dual enrollment possibilities with our Vital program and the students. Just trying to get information to families about the options for enrollment for their students. There'll be a lot of time spent on that in the spring, and then begin preparing for next school year. What's the next school year going to look like, and getting those plans in place.
We're almost there, right? We're just going to push for a few more months, and we'll get a little break, and then we'll be back again. I want to go back to the testing that you talked about. Is there anything going to be done differently because of COVID for spacing or sending the kids up to take these tests?
Sure, that's a good question. So right now we've got the classroom spaced as much as we can. Have the desks spread apart and the students sitting in their seating arrangements in the classrooms. We will have some students that will have to come into the building that are currently remote to test. So we'll have to set up spaces in the schools to keep those students separated. Probably libraries, cafeterias, large areas where we can spread students out. So there will be protocols and things that we'll have to put in place so that we can administer the test safely and securely.
So just using all the space we have, right?
Yes, everything we have available.
Well, in the last minute that we have here, tell us, how can we, the community, how can we help and support the school system? Is there anything that parents, people out in the community can do?
Sure. So, and the community's been great. And that's part of the reason we've been able to stay open. It's just continue to support our teachers, continue to support your students, share the message, encouraging your students to follow the protocols in place, wearing the mask, washing hands, doing all of those things. And then if your child is sick, keep them home. The same thing, if you've got a family member in your home with COVID, keep your child home, follow the isolation and quarantine procedures. Those are the things that will help our school system, but also help our community return to a healthier state.
Thank you, Corby. One last question. Tell us about spring sports. Is there anything that's going on with spring sports?
So right now, the governor's order runs through February, which affects basketball, wrestling, the things that are happening right now, those traditional winter sports. Crowd-wise, it's only parents, but he did increase that to where faculty members and now grandparents can attend, but no other guests. We don't know about the spring sports yet. We anticipate that those will be able to occur, just like football, just like basketball, soccer for the girls, wrestling. So we think that the spring sports will be able to occur, but likely under some of the similar restrictions that we're currently experiencing. But we won't know that until we get those guidelines from the governor.
Well, thank you so much, Corby. It's so good for you to join us. Maybe next month when I have you on, you can tell us more about the spring sport. Maybe we'll have more information.
That'd be great. Something besides COVID next month, we hope.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back with Jeff Slagel.
Frontline health professionals and nursing home residents have been getting the COVID-19 vaccines, but who's next on the list? People over 75 and essential workers like firefighters, teachers, and grocery store workers likely will be eligible next, according to the CDC, and they're being strongly encouraged to get it.
Take advantage of this vaccine, which has been a remarkable bonus and looks to be a terrific additional thing that we can do, a major additional thing to control this virus.
Individual state leaders have the final authority on who will receive the COVID vaccines first.
Got health questions? Ask Hannah at allhealthtv.com.
On the next episode of It's Your Business, I talked to two entrepreneurs who took the leap of faith to turn their business ideas into a reality. Join us as we learn their stories and be inspired and encouraged by their journeys into the world of owning a business.
Thank you for joining us again. Again, my name is Cephas Ablakwa. I'm the Director of Education and Engagement here at WCTE in partnership with Putnam County Schools. So we are so grateful for our partnership with Putnam County Schools. And now we have Jeff Slagel, who is also from Putnam County Schools. Jeff, how are you today?
I'm doing really well, Cephas. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. We just had Corby King on, and he told us a few things that I'm going to discuss with you as well. First, before we start, tell us what CTE is and what is your title at Putnam County Schools?
Okay, so Career and Technical Education is what CTE stands for. A lot of our older residents in Putnam County may know of it as vocational. And so I am the Career and Technical Education Program Supervisor for the Putnam County School System.
So what are the enrollment pathways on the courses that this program offers?
Okay, so we offer, the state of Tennessee has 16 career clusters, and Putnam County School System offers 13 of those 16. We offer over 250 CTE courses in high school. We have approximately 40% of our high school enrollment students are enrolled in career and technical courses in our county. So CTE is a huge part of what we do in giving students career and technical skills, hands-on, skill-related technical training. We have over 2,000 students who are enrolled in dual enrollment courses in Putnam County. That means that they get high school credit and college post-secondary credit at the same time while they're dually enrolled in those courses in our county.
How do these courses and these classes line up with the career pathways and the Highland initiatives?
Okay, so that's a great question. District-wide, we have 33 teachers that teach courses that are career and technical related. Of those courses, the Highlands Pathways identifies 4 hot or really great pathways that we have strong labor and job outlook for, and we have 4 of those in the Highlands. That's advanced manufacturing, health science, information technology, and education and training. So some of those jobs and careers that we're preparing students for instance, in advanced manufacturing, that's industrial maintenance, robotics, and welding. In health science, that's certified nursing assistant and nursing services. And in information technology, we're preparing students for jobs in coding, networking, and cybersecurity. And finally, with education and training, the 4th hot pathway, we're preparing students for early childhood careers and teaching as a profession.
That's a lot to cover. That's a lot of different courses. Are you aligned with any partners in the community?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have strong work-based learning programs with several business and industry partners. We also, as I mentioned earlier, have a partnership with TCAT Livingston, Ball State Czech Campus, and Tennessee Tech University in those dual enrollment offerings. So when we look at our work-based learning offerings and with our partnerships, we easily have over 40 business and industry partners in the Upper Cumberland that we work with on a regular basis to provide opportunities for our students.
Are there any early post-secondary opportunities in that?
Absolutely. So the state of Tennessee identifies 8 early post-secondary opportunities. Advanced placement, international baccalaureate, Cambridge, college level entrance preparation exams, dual enrollment, local dual credit, statewide dual credit, and industry certifications. I'm happy to say that Putnam County Schools offers our students opportunities in 7 of the 8 early post-secondary opportunities that are approved statewide. Cambridge is the only one that we don't offer opportunities to our students in.
So what is the impact of this on our community? When students go through this program, how do they perform outside of this?
Okay, so our brand for Putnam County Career and Technical Education is we call our CTE Future Ready. So we started using that brand about 3 years ago. And so we're trying to show that we're preparing students for jobs in our community by making a future ready graduate. And we do that through a number of ways. It starts as early, Cephas, as fourth grade for us. And we do career exploration activities with, actually third grade, third and fourth graders. And then we start in fifth grade by using Virtual Job Shadow. It's a platform that we use to advise students on possible career pathways, possible choices for college, and we also allow them to participate in a interest inventory, a career job aptitude inventory, and so we're helping those students identify what jobs that they might be interested in doing, and then through our college and career readiness coaches and our counselors, we help those students identify their pathway from fourth grade through 12th grade so that they're prepared when they move into post-secondary or career for whatever job they would love to do and choose to do.
Are there any changes on the students' part? Because I'm thinking back when I was in fourth and fifth grade, I mean, I went through so many different careers. So how does that, is it flexible enough that when the student changes from one thing, they can continue on to the next?
Absolutely. So some of the things that we do with students, we see that all the time. A student will start one program of study, they'll want to make a change, and so they go to our career coaches or our counselors and they say, hey, I started this, it's not what I want to do. And so we have multiple entry and exit points so students can have that flexibility to choose what program of study and what career path they want to be on. And then another way that we help them see that they really get a test run on that job or that career is we do work-based learning courses with them as a junior and a senior, and they actually are an intern and they get placed at a job that aligns with their program of study so they can actually try it. And we've actually had kids that went into health science. They do their clinical as a junior and they don't like the sight of blood, so we go back and we revisit what they want to do moving forward in that and completing that junior year and into their senior year. So yes, we have to be flexible because, as you said, I had no idea when I was a 9th, 10th grader in high school what I wanted to do in post-secondary or in a career. So I needed that flexibility, as do our students now.
Well, before I let you go, we've got less than a minute. So to wrap up, what can we as a community, this is a question I asked Corby King, but I want to ask you specifically, what can we as the community do to help support this program as parents, as workers in the community?
Great question. So we love having guest speakers, industry partners coming, reaching out to our counselors and our career coaches and asking to come in and speak to our kids. We have multiple positions on our advisory boards that we need that input from community members, parents, and business and industry to help guide our career and technical programs in our schools.
Can we just call the central office to find out more about helping?
Absolutely. If they'll call the central office and ask to speak to me, we'll help guide and direct those people into the right spots in our school system.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for your time, and we'll be right back with Misty.
Thank you, Cephas.
There are many reasons for people to be anxious about COVID-19, but according to studies in children around the world, the pandemic's taking a severe toll on kids. One poll found that more than half of teenagers say they'd experienced anxiety, and 43% say they struggled with depression. Pediatricians know these statistics are real.
I'm probably seeing, maybe 10% general pediatrics, and the rest of it is mental health, which is not what I was trained to do. But the level of depression and anxiety that we're seeing in children is really, it's off the charts right now.
Increased screen time, sometimes up to 9 hours a day, may be contributing to the problem, but the non-screen time parents spend with their kids can help them better connect with others.
Got health questions? Ask Hannah at allhealthtv.com.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I believe a good question is worth at least 100 good answers. I'm Phil Oldham, president of Tennessee Tech University. Please join us for Now That's a Good Question, a show devoted to exploring the power of asking good questions. Wings up.
Thank you for joining us. Again, I'm Cephas Ablakwa, Director of Education and Engagement, and we have here with us Misty Stewart, who also works at WCTE. Misty, please tell us your role here at WCTE.
I'm the Education and Engagement Coordinator, and what that means is that it's my responsibility to share the numerous educational materials that are provided free from PBS and PBS Kids to the teachers and families in our community.
Well, we are in the same department, but you can tell us about what are some of the upcoming projects.
Okay, so we actually have a very interesting project coming up called Sesame Street and Communities. This project is based on a successful model that was developed by Sesame Workshop for the 50th Anniversary Station Engagement Initiative. So they're they're launching this new project with Sesame Street and Communities tools and resources to provide to caregivers, families, and children in rural areas. WCTE was one of 10 stations selected to receive a grant to work on this project. And as part of that grant, we'll be training local caregivers, teachers, recording short instructional lessons for families on how to use Sesame Street and Communities resources at home, which we'll be broadcasting out on the air, and we'll be distributing printed materials which have been developed by SSIC to families throughout our region.
So when you mention caregivers, who qualifies as a caregiver?
That's a great question. A caregiver is a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle or a foster parent, anyone who cares for a child in their life. And this age range is specifically pre-K through 4th grade. So we're focusing on younger learners with this curriculum.
When is this event going to take place, and how can people either sign up or participate?
So we're actually in the planning stages right now. We have a lot of really great ideas that we're in the process of getting started. So we want people to keep an eye on our website, WCTE.org, and our social media, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and keep an eye on Channel 22. And if you're on digital, the main channel, 22.1, for any updates and information. It'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks. We are in the process right now of getting that started.
All right, so go to WCTE.org to find out more information about this project. What other projects do you have coming up?
We also have an Indie Lens pop-up that is coming up soon.
Oh, tell us first, before we get into it, tell us, what is Indie Lens pop-up?
So Indie Lens Pop-Up is a neighborhood series that brings people together for film screenings, community-driven conversations, and it features documentaries seen on PBS's Independent Lens. Indie Lens Pop-Up is designed to draw local residents, leaders, and organizations to discuss issues that matter to them. So it might be a general newsworthy topic, a social issue, family and community relationships, things that are either hot button issues or are points of concern for people and families in the communities.
What is this particular one that's coming up?
So upcoming, we have the screening of 9 to 5, The Story of a Movement. That's going to happen on Wednesday, January 27th at 6 p.m. Central Time. This documentary highlights the working women's movement that inspired the lyrics of the famous Dolly Parton song 9 to 5. This movement started with a group of Boston secretaries in the early 1970s and spread across the nation. Their goals were simple: better pay, more advancement opportunities, and an end to sexual harassment. And their unconventional approach attracted the attention of the press and basically shamed their bosses into making change. So this is an excellent documentary, I think, for the time, especially considering that we have our first female vice president. So I think this is a great look back to see part of what started this and what has helped us come to where we are today.
So tell us about the participation and how this whole project is set up for the community that wants to participate.
So you'll go to our website, again, WCTE.org, and there is a link on there to RSVP. We're actually participating this time in a national screening. And what that means is that, so part of Indie Lens is that there's always a discussion panel that follows, because that's the point of these documentaries, is to generate discussion on these topics. And so we usually will do a local screening for a lot of the Indie Lens, meaning that we'll find local people to discuss these topics. But this time, because it's such a national issue and because the national panel is so fantastic, we've decided that we're going to participate and help sponsor the national screening. So you'll go to the website and there's a link on there to RSVP. And if you sign up to RSVP, you'll get a reminder in your email with a link for the day of actual participation. We are also going to provide a direct link for the screening on the website for the event. So you can choose how you would like to sign up. And we would also like to let you know that for following the screening, the national discussion is going to include Valerie Long. She's an International Executive Vice President for Secretary or Service Employees International Union. Karen Nussbaum, a Founding Director of 9 to 5, District 925, and SEIU and Working America. Julia Reichert is the Director and Producer of 9 to 5. And Elizabeth Schuler is the Secretary-Treasurer for the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations. So we have a really incredible panel of women that are going to be discussing this documentary, how it was made, and discussing this movement and what started it, how it progressed, and the effects that it's had today.
Now, you mentioned that typically we do a local panel. Since we're not doing a local panel this time, are the viewers from our local community, can they contribute questions, or how can they participate when they're watching or being a part of the Indie Lens?
Absolutely. So when you either when you sign up on the RSVP on our website, or when you go to the website and follow the direct link, you will be participating just like everyone else across the nation. So you will have the option to type in questions in the chat and participate in that discussion. So you can make comments, ask questions, and all of our local viewers will be participating as part of this large national group.
All right, we have about 30 seconds before we go. Could you remind us again the date and the time and how people can sign up?
All right, so it's January the 27th, that's a Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Time. Go to WCTE.org. It's on the carousel, so it's easy to find, and it's 9 to 5, the story of a movement.
Misty, it's so good to have you. Thank you for joining us. And please remember to visit us on WCTE.org. and become a donator or a partner. Thank you.
Thank you.
From one neighbor to another, WCTE PBS is here for you. Join us again tomorrow for today's show to re-air again at 5 p.m. We will return with a live news show on Thursday of next week at 5 p.m. Thank you for watching.